So Charlotte was suffering from a number of symptoms for some time that were gradually deteriorating: fatigue, weight loss, muscle pain, tightness and swelling in some of her limbs, dizziness, quite generic symptoms initially, but they were getting worse. It transpired that she actually had a vitamin B12 deficiency. Once that was diagnosed, she didn't get the correct treatment for some time, and by the time she was put on injections for the vitamin B12 deficiency, it was too late. She was suffering at that point from very significant neurological and permanent damage, along with visual loss and disturbance, so she was in a pretty bad way.
I was constantly fighting with the doctors to listen to me, to acknowledge that I was actually ill. It wasn't all in my head, as they kept saying. And it took to the point where I couldn't walk anymore. I was numb from the waist down. I was sleeping 20 hours a day, and that's not an exaggeration. I'd lost 4 stone in about 8 weeks because I wasn't awake to eat. All I could do was sleep. I was so exhausted.
What really drew me to Charlotte's case is her plight. So she knew there was something severely physically wrong with her. She knew that, and she went out and she sought help. She reached out a number of times, and she was met by closed doors, one after the other. She was told it was all in her head. She was told that, there can't be anything wrong with her, that she didn't have these problems, but she knew she did. And I felt so sorry for her because she was doing everything that she was expected to do. And she knew that there was something very seriously wrong with her. And I felt very strongly that just wasn't right.
It wasn't about money. It wasn't about getting one over. If anything, it was about, I wanted an apology for what had happened to me, for doing me wrong, and also I wanted to make sure that it never happened again to anyone else. So my mum got in contact with Slater and Gordon, told them the whole story, and that they agreed it was outrageous and decided to take me on as a client. And they've made it possible so I can have this lovely, beautiful home for myself and have my independence back, have my life back.
It's a really important case because I've subsequently learned that actually very little is known worldwide about vitamin B12 deficiency, about the symptoms, about the treatment, and about the possible implications for your health if you have a deficiency. There are a number of generic symptoms which you can suffer with a vitamin B12 deficiency, and it's quite difficult to diagnose because they're so general. So there's weight loss and tiredness, lethargy, dizziness, sometimes vomiting, and of course lots of different things could apply to those symptoms. So it is very tricky, but the problem is, when vitamin B12 deficiency sets in and it becomes very significant, the problems that can flow from that can be really serious. As in Charlotte's case, we're talking about possible neurological damage, visual disturbance, vision loss, mobility and sensory problems, a combination of which is catastrophic for someone. And with vitamin B12 deficiency, it can actually be treated really easily and really quickly with vitamin B12 intramuscular injections. So it's just really important to raise awareness of vitamin B12 deficiency because it can be rectified and treated, and some of these catastrophic problems can actually be prevented with the correct treatment.
I feel like I have a future. Instead of just having a black tunnel staring at me, there's actually hope now. Slater and Gordon, they've given me a lot, and they've done a lot for me in ways they probably don't even fully understand.
If you feel that you have been seriously impacted by a vitamin B12 deficiency and you haven't had the proper care and treatment from medical professionals, then please do not hesitate to reach out and contact me direct.